them in the Q&A. But in the meantime, I'm going to hand you over to Alison.
Thank you very much, Claire. Hello again, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen for my slideshow, so bear with me while I just get that up. Okay, so I've got a question for you. What is it that prevents you from cycling more around Brighton and Hove? There were only 14% of you in that poll at the beginning of this webinar that said you were very confident. So for the other 86% of you, what is it that stops you? You don't need to write it in the chat, just have a think about it. I would hazard a guess that a breeze ride or 2 or 3 may be able to help with whatever it is that you feel is holding you back. And that's what I'm going to tell you about today, are the breeze bike rides for women that happen around Brighton and Hove. In the next 10 minutes, I hope to answer any questions you might have about breeze rides, as well as perhaps a few that you didn't even know you had. By the end of it, I'm hoping you might be inspired to come and join me on a breeze ride. And you never know, it might even change your life. It certainly has changed my life and a few other women that I know. So, as Lucy said, the research has shown that more men than women ride their bikes regularly. And 10 years ago, in 2011, British Cycling did some research into this. It concerned them. When they looked into it and thought about what could actually help, they decided that one of the things that could help would be to offer women-only bike rides. You've heard from Lucy about the girls-only bike clubs and some of the things that help there. There's some similar things for us as adult women as well. Included is that if you were to join a mixed group of riders or a group of all men, there are quite a few things that can put us off or that get in our way. So in 2011, the Breeze programme was invented by British Cycling. They trained up a few volunteers around the country, women like me who cycled regularly and wanted to give up their time for free to help other women to build their confidence and skills on 2 wheels. That was 10 years ago. It has now been the biggest programme ever to get more women into riding bikes for fun. It's all across the UK. And since the launch 10 years ago, there have been 275,000 participations. And there are now over 1,200 Breeze champions like me, as we're called, trained and qualified ride leaders for women-only rides. There's a few reasons it's been so successful. They're not that complicated, really. One reason is that we always ride at the pace of the slowest, whoever that might be. So you don't get left behind and the ride leader can keep the group together. This is one of the things that often makes rides with family members or men or people who are a lot faster less enjoyable for a lot of cyclists, including women. Number 2, it's free to do, doesn't cost you a penny. So you need to sign up on the website because we limit the number of riders in any group, but you don't have to spend a penny. You don't even have to buy a bike because you can use one of the Brighton bike share bikes if you like, those turquoise ones that are around in the docking bays. Number 3, as I've mentioned before, the rider numbers are limited. So there isn't the danger that on a nice, bright, warm, sunny day, way too many people will turn up for the ride. And every group has a qualified female ride leader who's there to make sure no one gets behind and to keep everyone together. And then final reason, there is local autonomy. So even though this is a nationwide programme from Jersey to Aberdeen, Pembrokeshire to East Anglia now, the local ride leaders or breeze champions as we're called, we decide what are the safest routes to take a group of women, what are the best meeting places for us, what are some good cafes to go to, and what would be the best times of day or days of the week, both for ourselves, because nearly all of us also work for full-time and have family commitments, but also for the local women who we know are enjoying coming on our rides. Since I trained as a Breeze champion in 2012, there's been a particularly vibrant Breeze programme here in Brighton and Hove. We have new women coming along and joining us, as well as women who like coming on the rides and come back on more, either to repeat a route or to try more of the routes that we've got. There's a few reasons that the programme has been so very popular and vibrant. One is that we start our rides in just a few places around the city, places that are relatively easy to find, easy to get to, and have enough space for us to gather as a group. Here you can see some quite large groups, for example. We need space there with our bikes to gather. So examples of where we start our rides are Preston Park, Hove Park, 10Mar Park, or the Level. And also for rides along the seafront, we start at the marina sometimes if we want to go out east, or somewhere like the Peace statue on the seafront if we want to go west. We have a variety of different rides as well, so that helps the programme to be so popular and vibrant. There's about 15 different routes that we use regularly, right from our shortest rides, which tend to be 5 or 6 miles. They're often along the seafront, on cycle paths, so you're not in amongst the traffic. Right up to our longest ride is 40 miles, 40, and that takes us north out of the city and around some of the Sussex villages up there, so Hassocks, Hurstpere Point, Hickstead, and a whole range in between. So there's a variety. People don't get bored with doing the same route over and over again, or they don't need to. We also occasionally put on ad hoc, either novelty rides, fancy dress rides for Halloween, or to celebrate something in particular. Another reason that they're popular and continue to be is that we always start with introductions and a bike check, and that's what you can see happening there on the bottom left of the photograph. So the bike check that Claire took you through, we do something very similar with everyone. It helps them get to know their bike, helps them learn something about their bike, and it also makes sure everyone is safe for herself and for others. And also the introductions mean that you get to know the other women that you're riding with. Lots of really good friendships have formed through these Breeze rides, and that's the very start, is just finding out who's there with you. And then the last reason I would give is that once or twice a year, as well as the rides, we also offer free Breeze coaching sessions. That's because myself and a couple of the other local Breeze champions are also qualified British cycling coaches. So we can offer coaching sessions for the groups. And that's what you can see happening in the bottom right of the screen there. They're usually over a period of 6 weeks. So we build the skills up as we go through the 6 weeks, often on a Saturday morning. And the one you can see there is at Preston Park in the velodrome. That's usually in a January or February, because that's when the track is available. And we've also run one over in Lancing at Brookland Cycle Track there. We found that in particular helps women with their bike handling skills and builds their confidence riding in a group. There's nearly always a cafe stop. Now, this isn't unique to Breeze. You'll find any cyclists who regularly go out like a good cafe stop. But there's a reason that it's particularly important, I think, with Breeze groups. I've said before, it's good to know who you're riding with and that friendships form. Well, the cafe pause is a good time to have a really good chat and get to know each other more, as well as to ask the ride leader any questions you might have about your bike or the route or what to wear or what to buy next if you're fancying a new helmet or saddle. I've seen a question about that. It's a chance to chat more than when you're out on the road. People do chat on the road, but at that point you may be looking out for the ride leader's signals or maybe waiting for the traffic lights to change. We build up a good relationship with the local cafes that we choose and use. They need to have enough space for us and our bikes. Definitely a clean toilet is a necessity, and a good range of cakes is usually important as well. And some will reserve a table for us, as well as bake us a cake for something special. That cake in the middle was baked for a celebration of the end of one of the coaching series of sessions that we did. So I'm not the only qualified breeze ride leader here in Brighton and Hove. Currently we have 7 of us. You can see us all there in our red tops. And we all have other jobs. We don't have jobs connected with cycling. That's not how we earn our money. We're full-time, and we also have family commitments. So why do we give up for no money our weekends and our evenings, both to lead rides with women, but also to go out finding new routes, testing out cafes? That's a better part of it, I would say, as well as all the advertising for the rides that we need to do. It's quite simple, really. We really love seeing the confidence grow with the women who come out on our rides, especially those who come and gradually progress through some of the more challenging rides or the longer rides. We just love that building in confidence. We also are absolutely thrilled when real friendships form and women don't just come on our rides, but they start to go out. They repeat routes together in pairs or in small groups. So I just want to finish with a short story about a rider who started with us with Breeze in 2015. Her name is Isabel. She went on from Breeze to join the local cycle club, Brighton Mitre, and has done all kinds of challenges and adventures, both on her own and with others. Here she is, back in January 2015, on the first ever Breeze coaching session that we ran at Preston Park, second from the left there. That's where she started her journey. Just a few months later in the summer, she was joining some of the longer Breeze rides out onto the country lanes. And you can see there her riding alongside another rider called Anne. A year later, she was part of a small group of us that organised some taster sessions at Preston Park Velodrome with track bikes, very specialised bikes that you can't ride on the road. She had a go at that, she got the bug, and since then she's even done some racing there on the track bikes at the Velodrome. In July 2018, a small group of us decided we would like to do a bike packing trip, as it's called, independently from Brighton to Paris. And there we are at the start of the Avenue Verte together. A year later, she entered a folding bike race at Eastbourne Cycling Festival. And then later on, just 1 month later, she was part of a small group of us that did a bike packing trip off-road to Gumberbothy, just outside Arundel. So her Breeze story has taken her beyond Breeze, out to challenges and adventures that she never dreamed she would have had. Of course, not everyone's like that. You may be happy keeping going with the Breeze rides or just riding with your buddies that you've met there. But it's a nice example of where this can take you. If you want to know more, then my email is there at the bottom. Just email me any questions about the rides or anything you'd really like to find out before you book a place. We share a Facebook page with other Breeze champions around Sussex, but that's where we tend to advertise rides that are coming up and post photographs of rides that have happened. And then lastly, at the top there is the website where you book a place. It's free, but you need to book a place because the place is being limited. And on there, we post information about the route we're taking, anything you need to bring with you, etc. Thank you very much for your time. And I hope I've inspired you to potentially join a Breeze ride once we get started again. We've had to stop because of the coronavirus, but we've heard from British Cycling just yesterday, we'll be able to start offering them again from the end of March. So hope to see you then.
Great. Thanks so much, Alison.